Ned Stark, the Warden of the North, Lord of Winterfell, and a man revered for his unyielding honor and integrity. To the people of the North, he was a steadfast leader and a symbol of justice. But when thrust into the cutthroat world of King's Landing as Hand of the King, his virtues turned into vulnerabilities. How did a man so principled fall victim to the intrigues of a game he never wanted to play? Today, we unravel the tragic tale of Eddard Stark, examining the decisions and values that led to his downfall. From misplaced trust and rigid ideals to the harsh realities of power, let's explore the lessons his story holds about leadership, morality, and survival in a ruthless world. Ned Stark's life was built upon the principles of honor, loyalty, and justice. Raised in the cold but just environment of Winterfell, he believed in doing what was right, regardless of the cost. To the people of the North, this made him a beloved and respected leader. However, King's Landing was a world apart. In the North, honor was a strength, a foundation that held his house and alliances together. But in the South, where deception and ambition ruled, honor became a liability. From the very beginning of his time as Hand of the King, Ned struggled to reconcile his values with the reality of King's Landing. He was surrounded by a court that thrived on lies, manipulation, and power plays. Instead of adapting, Ned tried to impose his sense of justice upon a system designed to reject it. His failure to navigate these murky waters was not due to incompetence, but rather an unwillingness to compromise his ideals. This rigidity made him predictable and, more importantly, vulnerable. One of the clearest examples of Ned's inability to adapt was his handling of the discovery regarding Cersei Lannister's children. When he uncovered the truth, that Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen were not Robert's legitimate heirs, but the product of her incestuous relationship with her brother Jaime, Ned's instinct was to confront her directly. He warned Cersei, giving her time to prepare and solidify her position. Why did Ned do this? To him, it was the honorable path. He believed that giving her a chance to flee would avoid unnecessary bloodshed. But to Cersei, it was an opportunity to outmaneuver him. She used the warning to orchestrate his downfall, demonstrating that mercy and honor had no place in the Game of Thrones. This pivotal moment marked the beginning of the end for Ned Stark, as it revealed his inability to anticipate the ruthlessness of his enemies. If honor was Ned's first fatal flaw, misplaced trust was his second. Despite his years of leadership and experience, he misjudged the motivations of those around him in King's Landing. The most glaring example of this was his trust in Petyr Baelish, known as Littlefinger. Littlefinger's reputation as a manipulator and opportunist was no secret. Yet, Ned believed him when he promised to help secure the loyalty of the City Watch. This trust proved catastrophic. At the critical moment, Littlefinger betrayed him, ensuring that the Lannisters maintained control and that Ned was left powerless. Why did Ned trust Littlefinger? Perhaps he underestimated the depth of Littlefinger's ambition, or perhaps he overestimated the power of truth and justice in swaying others to his cause. Either way, it was a grave miscalculation that sealed his fate. In Winterfell, Ned was surrounded by loyal bannermen who shared his values. But in King's Landing, alliances were not built on trust or shared ideals, but on mutual benefit and power. Ned's failure to understand this dynamic left him isolated. He rejected Renly Baratheon's offer to seize the throne with the backing of his army, citing the rightful claim of Stannis Baratheon. While this decision was consistent with his principles, it was a strategic blunder. By refusing Renly's support, he alienated a potential ally and left himself without the necessary resources to challenge the Lannisters. Similarly, Ned did little to build relationships with influential figures at court. Instead of forging alliances, he relied on the belief that truth and justice would prevail. This idealistic approach left him with no one to turn to when the tide turned against him. Ned's faith in the rule of law was another significant miscalculation. He believed that the revelation of Joffrey's illegitimacy would lead to Stannis' ascension to the throne, restoring order to the realm. However, He underestimated the role of power in determining legitimacy. When Robert Baratheon died, Ned presented Robert's will, naming him as regent. Cersei dismissed the document without hesitation, understanding that a piece of paper meant nothing without the force to back it up. This moment highlighted the stark difference between Ned's worldview and the reality of King's Landing. By placing his faith in the law and the honor of others, Ned left himself defenseless against those who understood that power, not truth, dictated the course of events. Characters like Tywin Lannister and Tyrion Lannister thrived in the same environment that destroyed Ned. Tywin's ruthlessness and strategic mind ensured his family's dominance, while Tyrion's wit and pragmatism allowed him to navigate even the most dangerous situations. In contrast, Ned's refusal to adapt to the political realities of King's Landing led to his downfall. Adaptability was the key trait that Ned lacked. He remained steadfast in his principles, even when it became clear that survival required compromise. This rigidity not only cost him his life, but also plunged the realm into chaos. His death set off a chain of events that led to the War of the Five Kings, forever altering the course of Westerosi history. Ned Stark's story is a powerful exploration of the cost of leadership. He was a man who stayed true to his values, even when it was to his detriment. While this made him a tragic figure, it also made him a symbol of integrity in a world where such qualities were rare. His legacy lives on through his children, who each inherited different aspects of his character and navigated their own challenges in unique ways. The tale of Ned Stark's downfall also serves as a broader commentary on the nature of leadership and morality in a flawed system. It raises questions about the balance between idealism and pragmatism. Can leaders uphold their moral values and still succeed in a corrupt system, or must they become part of the corruption to enact change? Ned's story forces us to grapple with this dilemma, and his legacy provides a lens through which to evaluate the choices of other leaders in Westeros and beyond. For example, consider Jon Snow, who inherited his father's sense of honor but also learned to make hard choices when necessary. Or Arya Stark, whose journey was shaped by survival and adaptability rather than rigid adherence to principles. Each of Ned's children reflects a piece of his character, offering a nuanced look at how his virtues and flaws influence the next generation. As we reflect on Ned Stark's journey, let's consider the lessons his story offers. Can honor and integrity survive in a world driven by ambition and deceit? Is it better to compromise one's values to achieve greater goals? Or is staying true to oneself the ultimate measure of strength? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more in-depth explorations of the intricate characters and stories of Game of Thrones. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life and legacy of Eddard Stark.